when I talk to authors, I'm like, it's not going to be just one thing that's going to make your book, the most popular book and you're going to sell a ton. Of course, maybe some book talker will turn your book into a huge viral sensation, but for most
Mm.
people, it's not going to be just ads or it's not going to be just a really amazing social media presence or just your
Yeah.
email. It's going to be a plan of a lot of really good tactics that you
Mhm.
unsexy alert, stay consistent with and do over time. So I
Yeah.
think the mindset is stop looking for lightning in a bottle, stop looking for the lottery ticket,
Yeah.
and put the actual plan in place and do it.
As we get into it, but I think the algorithm we love to hate on, right? Like I hate
Yeah.
that when no one sees my post and all of this sort of thing. And I feel the same way, even though I know better, right? Even though I teach differently, that it truly these companies, these social media companies exist because they want your content to be seen. If people are not engaging with you, that's because you're not creating content that is valuable to
Mm.
people. And so that's like a really
Mm.
hard thing to like accept. Like, I'm trying so hard. I'm putting up
Yeah.
posters of pictures of my book. I'm doing this. I'm asking, and no one's, well, that's not what people want. If
Right.
they
Mm.
wanted it, that's how it would be working.
Mm.
And so that's a shift. And we can talk about what that means and what you should do.
Hey guys, and welcome back to Untitled Work in Podcast. I'm your co-host Darcy.
And I'm your co-host, Lauren.
And today we have with us founders of Method Agency, Nikki Pierce and Becca Sine.
Woo!
Since
Hi.
since 2013, Method Agency has made it their mission to help hundreds of clients form repeatable marketing strategies, from debut novelists to established bestsellers. They're helping them turn publishing goals into sustainable long-term careers. Their mission is simple: to empower authors and fandom-driven brands at every level to build lasting success, steady sales, and deeply engaged communities.
Everything we're working on here.
Yes.
That's us.
Woo. So, Becca and Nikki, just to get to know you a little bit better and get us started off, what is currently on your guys' TBRs or TBLs if you like listening to audiobooks?
That was the first time I've heard TBL. I was like, I love that phrase.
Yay!
And I go between both, so it works. I like try to
There
read
you go.
and listen to something at the same time.
I do that too.
On my list is Yesteryear because everyone's talking about it.
Mm.
I don't
And
have
then
it yet. It was on my list. Yeah.
I know. And then the new Veronica Roth, I'm really looking forward to because
Oh, yeah.
everyone's been talking about it.
Yes,
Yeah.
they have.
Which I feel
They
like
have.
that's a whole other episode.
Yes, very much so.
With everything that happened. But I'm actually reading right now The Shield of Sparrows because another
Ooh, I've
big
heard good
series
things
people have
about
been
that
talking
one.
about. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's really good. That's my TBL actually. It's a good
Oh, there you go.
good listen.
And so mine are very different, although Yesteryear is definitely on the I need to purchase this and find time for this. But I'm living very much in like a business space at the moment. So I have Next to My Bed, need to start it. Nikki, you have it too because I sent it to you. It's a book by Sam Vanderwillen called When I Start My Business, I Will Be Happy. Oh, she has it on.
Hey, wow, good timing.
On my desk.
Yeah, she asked there's a book club today, and I'm going to the book club, but I haven't read the book, so I hope that's okay. It's
I
like
think
a
that's
business
pretty much
call
every
there.
book club ever.
I know. So that's that one. And then I also Abundance by Ezra Klein, which was a very big best-selling book about a year ago. It came out. That is, I'm obsessed with Ezra Klein as a podcast host and all that. So I listen to devour everything he writes short form, but I haven't read his long form work yet. But it is on my list.
I love
There you
it.
go.
Nice.
All of those sound really good. I think most of those actually, even the business book that you showed, I think that one's on my like my long extended TBR. So
nice.
yeah.
The never-ending one.
Yeah, I think I'm up to like 56 now.
Oh my gosh.
So many.
No, my word.
So I know I gave a little bit of a spiel about what Method Agency is, but if you guys wanted to share a little bit about where you guys started, how you came to be, and what you love doing about your with your company, we'd love to hear it.
Yes, we have a fun story. There's a little teaser of our story if you're watching the video version of this in the background of Nikki's frame. But Nikki, why don't you
Ah.
kick us off? Because you usually
I
tell the
usually give
beginning.
Who
the
is
spiel.
that?
Yeah, go for it.
If you know, this is Edward Cullen. So our business has a backstory, has an origin story rather. So
Love
in
it.
2008, Becca and I started a website that was about Twilight, and we talked about Twilight from an adult's perspective, how much we loved it, and also
Um,
how much fun that we had with it, and like, why do
yeah.
we like this? We're adults. This is a YA novel. And so because of that website, we got to do a lot of stuff. We had a lot of opportunities. We were going to red carpets and press events, and
Wow,
we
very
ended
cool.
up meeting Stephanie Meyer, the author herself, and stayed in touch with her over the years. And in 2013, her and her business partner approached us about working with them and doing marketing for Stephanie and for her books and her film production company. So
There
she
you
was the
go.
reason, Stephanie's the reason that we started Method Agency. And she's our first client, and she's still a client to this day.
Oh, I love it.
So
That's
that's
Yeah,
our
awesome.
and we've
origin
been
story.
Yeah, that is our origin story, the lore of Method Agency. And we worked with marketing, in our day job. So it
Yeah.
wasn't like, oh, okay, we'll learn marketing. We
Yeah.
actually had some
We're actually
experience
professionals
in
in this.
digital marketing, but this was the impetus for us starting the business. It's something we had been
Yeah.
thinking about, and like we're forever indebted and forever grateful for that kick
Yeah.
in the pants that got us to where we are today. So that was in
Mhm.
2013. And then because of that experience working with Stephanie, an author at that level, we got a lot of authors coming to us, just
Yeah.
being like, "Hey, I heard you worked with Stephanie. Can we do this?" And so we've had different
Mm,
programs and different offerings over the years of how
Nice.
how we work with authors. Some others have been big bestsellers
yeah.
traditionally published, and then of course,
Yeah.
as indie publishing has exploded in the
Mhm.
last, I mean, longer than 10 years, but definitely like even a little bit beyond, a lot of indie authors in our space and that we're able to work with. And so that's what we do. Like full time now. A majority of our clients, we still have a couple that are just kind of marketing general clients, but fandom adjacent that we still work with.
Mm,
But
Nice.
every day we get to work with authors of all types, indie published,
love
tribe
it.
published, hybrid bestsellers, those that are just starting out. And it's been
Yeah.
a pretty incredible experience. And all because of
Nice.
that guy on the back behind us.
Hey, that's awesome,
And the
though.
author to put him.
One sparkly vampire.
Yes,
Yeah.
right.
Yeah. If you're
I love it.
listening, it's a felt Edward Cullen.
Okay, I have a question that's totally off topic, but has to do with the Cullens. Do you have a favorite vampire then, since you guys dove
Oh.
into all of that?
A
Like
favorite
outside of the
Twilight
Cullens?
vampire?
From the Twilight.
Okay.
Yeah, like a favorite Twilight vampire.
That
Oh.
it can't be Edward?
It can't be. Well, it can be Edward. It's
Great.
fine.
Well, no, I mean, that's the obvious first answer, but there's got to be somebody. Shouldn't be Edward.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
there's
feel
so
like
many, right?
I feel like everyone would probably say Alice, right? I
Oh,
don't
yeah, I
know.
was
Maybe
thinking
that's my
Alice. Yeah, Alice is a good answer.
I was
I was
thinking
thinking about the
about
guys.
guys.
Yeah.
Mine's probably Emmett.
Yeah, I mean,
Exactly.
I think Emmett in the books, I like a lot better than Emmett in the
Yes.
films. So
Okay.
Yeah.
I think it's hard because we think of Emmett, we think of,
Yeah.
you know, what's his name, Kellen Lutz, and so we've met him. He's a very kind human, but
Yeah.
I think the Emmett in the books is better. But yeah, Alice
Yeah.
is
Nice.
special.
Always bet on Alice, guys.
Always bet on Alice.
Well, she knows everything, so yeah, bet on her for sure. I love it. A follow-up to that, have you guys found any fandoms or any worlds that have been
Mhm.
built by authors that you find as engaging and like as interesting and intriguing as the Twilight universe?
Oh, the fandom itself? That's
Well,
hard to
yeah,
top
it's
to
really hard. And
me.
I think now we would say no.
Okay.
But when it first came into our world, we had a pop culture website as well. We didn't talk about that part for years. And so we started covering the Outlander series. Now, Outlander was
Oh.
books that came out in the early 90s. So
Mhm.
the fandom tended to be like older, like young
Yeah.
boomers, older Gen X. And so we're not that. We're elder millennials. And so we were kind of coming into it new, and it felt like there was this like fandom clash of like the old fans and the new fans, which felt reminiscent of Twilight a little bit.
Interesting.
And the obsession over Sam Hewen, who played Jamie Fraser in the TV show, was like very Robert Pattinson like, and so we felt a lot like, oh, this feels for the first time, this feels connected to Twilight. It changed a lot, and like I
Yeah.
didn't love it. Like Outlander for me, just like jump the shark. What's the phrase? Jump the shark, whatever.
Jump the shark. Yeah.
Jump the shark. And I couldn't stand it after a certain amount of time. Sorry to
Uh,
anybody who's listening to this who knows. We
that's
have been
fine.
show for a long time, but yeah. So I think it changed. It wasn't the same, but
Yeah.
that was the first time that I felt. Only other time I
Yeah.
think I felt that
Okay.
connection.
Yeah. Dang.
Yeah. I don't
Nikki?
think there's anything like a Twilight fan. I think Outlander is a really good example. But gosh, there's just nothing like it. And I mean, even since the Renaissance, as they say, since 2020 and Midnight Sun came out, I don't like there
Mm,
are people who read it as teenagers and young adults who are introducing it to their children.
Yeah,
My mom loves the books. I love the books.
yeah.
I'm sure my niece is gonna love the books, like all of those things. So
Yeah.
I
And
don't
we've
know. I
had
think it's
so
intergenerational.
yeah, there's so many
mhm,
think pieces on why and all the reasons, and, like,
Hmm.
obviously, we're very closely connected to it with our relationship with
Yeah.
Stephanie, and we also work for the Chamber of Commerce of Forks, Washington, which is
Nice.
where
okay.
the real life place of where the
Yeah.
books take place, and we get to be a part of the big Forever Twilight and Forks, festival, that they do every year, so
That's cool.
we do
Nice.
get to still
Yeah.
see these actors and, like, we're still very tuned into the fandom, but on this a little bit different level than we
Yeah.
were as just fans, and
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
I think it is one of those things, whether you love it or hate it, because it brings up very strong opinions of people. It is, you have to give Twilight the credit for being that
Mm,
YA series that broke into beyond,
Hmm.
yeah.
beyond just young adults. It really
Yeah.
is. There's
Yeah.
of course been other ones. Harry Potter is another example, but it's still
Mhm.
very different. That was actually for children, not really even young adults. So I think it's like middle grade. So I really do think it's the reason why,
Mm,
a lot of these book series, oh, it's Veronica Roth. That's the reason why she's still in the, it's because of Twilight,
Yeah.
the Hunger Games. All of these things really, Stephanie
Hmm.
Meyer had a huge
mm,
role that she
yeah.
did not intend to, but she did in a lot of the indie careers of today. I mean, truly,
Yeah.
it's very much part of today's culture. It's just that series, that
Yeah.
2005 book that came out. It's crazy.
Yeah, Twilight had, like, a really big impression on me, with, like, my
Hmm.
writing style and everything as I was, like, starting out when I think I was in middle school when I read it, and
Yeah.
it just kinda, like it shaped a lot of, like, the way I write my characters
Yeah.
and my romance and everything like
Yeah.
that, so,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's
Thanks,
Yeah.
an awesome
Stephanie.
fandom to be a part of, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, so to, bring us back around a little bit, for, marketing and everything like that, is there a specific mindset that, authors need to have when
Mhm.
it comes to social media in order to help them not wanna pull their hair out?
Oh, 1,000 different things that could be said about this. I want one of the things that's just popping up to me that I would always when I talk to authors, I'm like, it's not gonna be just one thing that's going to make your book, the most popular book and you're gonna sell a ton. Of course, maybe some book talker will turn your book into a huge viral sensation, but for most
Mm,
people, it's not gonna be just ads or it's not gonna be just a
Mm.
really amazing social media presence or just your
Yeah.
email. It's gonna be a plan of a lot of really good tactics that you
mhm.
unsexy alert, stay consistent with and do over time. So I
Yeah,
think the mindset is stop looking for lightning in a bottle, stop looking for the lottery ticket, and
okay.
put the actual plan in place and do it.
And I think
Yeah.
we'll get into it a little bit more as we get into it. But I think the algorithm we love to hate on, right? Like I hate
Yeah.
that. And no one sees my post, and all of this sort of thing. And I feel the same way, even though I know better, right? Even though I teach differently, that it truly these companies, these social media companies exist because they want your content to be seen. They want people to engage. If people are not engaging with you, that's because you're not creating content that is valuable to people.
Mm.
And so that's like a really
Mm.
hard thing to like accept. Like, I'm trying so hard. I'm putting up
Yeah.
posters of pictures of my book. I'm doing this. I'm asking, and no one's, well, that's not what people want. If
Right.
they want
Mm.
it, that's how it would be working.
Mm.
And so that's a shift. And we can talk about what that means and what you should do later. But another thing I always love to say is imagine you're at an event and there's 150 people in a room listening to you talk about your book. Like, you'd be, like, thrilled. But you don't, when we have 150 people view a video, we're like,
Mhm.
oh my gosh, I'm a failure. When like
Yeah.
we
Mhm.
have this, you know what it took you to get to that event, to get up on stage, do all the things, the effort and the time and the energy to get in front of 100 people, where 100 people's eyes on a video. Now, I don't think they're always the targeted audience that might be in a room for books. So you might need 300, but 1,000 people, which people are like, I don't want 1,000 views. I want 10,000. You just got in front of 1,000 people. Like that's
Yeah.
Mhm.
so valuable. So if we just shift our
Mhm.
mindset on like, oh, this is free
Yeah.
thing that's in my hand that takes 5 seconds for me to make a video, in
Yeah.
theory,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
I
In
got
theory.
10,000 people. Like, wow, that's incredible. That did not
Mhm.
used to exist
Yeah.
10 years ago. I mean, this is truly amazing that we get to do this and we have this opportunity to get in front of that many people. So yeah,
Yeah.
that's what I
For
have to
sure.
share.
Yeah. No, I think that's a great way to look at it because I always try to remind myself, like when we get like the lower view counts on anything that we post, I'm always just like, this could fill up a movie theater. Like this is a full movie theater.
Yeah, great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And especially for indie authors, there's less of a there's no gatekeeping anymore. Like traditional
Mm.
authors are in the same lanes as indie authors. And of course, there are other avenues that they have access to, but being able to just hop on social media or run your own ads or grow
Hmm.
an email list are the same things that traditionally published authors are doing as
Yes.
well.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. That's a good way to put that because I think
yeah.
a lot of the times with the easy access that we have to social media, I think a lot of us
Mhm.
forget that just because it's easy access, it doesn't mean that it's not what other people are being paid to access as well.
Yeah.
So
Mhm.
I think that's a great way to put that. Going back, I guess, onto what you were saying about like shaping your content to be what's like what's visible, what people are wanting. How do you I guess find your footing within that content to know what it is that's that's gonna hit with the audience?
Well, I think you just said the most important thing of that.
Oh,
It's
Yeah.
audience. Is
mm-hmm.
who
Mhm.
is your audience? And when you are clear on that
Mm-hmm.
and your content is clear for that, for who that post is for, that's what the
Mm-hmm.
algorithm needs. It's literally how it's built. It like takes what it thinks you're trying to get out, who you're trying to reach, and it tries these different little pockets of audience to post. And so if it's not landing, it's because it's trying and it can't find. So can't find that right audience. And so when someone says, yeah, my readers are, their ages 40 to 65. You're like, "Mm, I'm going to talk very differently to a 40-year-old than a 65-year-old.
Mm-hmm.
And right, even like a 25-year-old and a 30-year-old, you're talking differently. So you just really need to be specific about who you're
Mm-hmm.
talking to and then how do
Yeah.
they interact? What are they interested in? What are they into?
Yeah.
How do they want to be communicated with? And there's some authors that are so good at that. They're so in
Mhm.
tune with their audience. And I would
Mm-hmm.
say most of those authors are probably in that age range or in that demographic of their audience, right? Those authors that are the best at it
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
really know their audience because they are their audience, if that makes
Mm.
sense.
Right.
Yeah.
But it's not impossible. There's plenty of YA authors who are older who do actually get to communicate and get interaction from teenagers, and they're
Yeah.
no longer teenagers. It's possible to be down with the kids, as they say.
They're just
Um,
superhuman.
but I think that's really where that piece is. So that's not tactical. It doesn't mean
Yeah.
what it looks like. And truly, it doesn't matter at the end of the day what it looks like and what the content you're saying. If it's for the right people and it's the way that they speak and interact with that post, whether you're talking about TikTok or Instagram or Facebook, whatever it is, that algorithm will find that person. Like that's
Okay.
how it works.
Mhm.
We've seen it happen again and again.
Yeah. And once you nail that part, it's so important to us. It's actually one of the very first things that we work on with clients or people who are in our coaching program is audience and messaging because once that snaps into place, the ads start working because then they're able to send your ads to the right people. Your emails
Ah.
start becoming better as well. So that's why it's really the foundation, the base layer of everything because then you can build on that once you know exactly how to talk to them and you're hearing back, like, you're seeing the engagement happen.
Okay. Now that makes sense because it's I guess it's sometimes it's really hard to like figure out exactly what your audience is like that you're
Sure.
because
Mhm.
you have those wide ranges. I know
Mhm.
like with Lauren and my story that we're currently writing, I'm always wondering like which direction we should go in because we
Mhm.
have rom-com, we have
Mm.
a little bit of horror because it's got zombies. We've got
Mhm.
we've got there's a religious aspect to it because it's about like a Christian couple figuring out if they're still married now that one of them's part of the undead. So it's so it's
That
always
sounds
hard to
great.
like yeah. It's
Uh,
always hard to figure out, like, do we push to just one or how do we push to all without it being
Yeah.
too vague?
right. I think you started saying like all these key words that started popping out to me, like horror,
Mm,
undead, rom-com. These are things that your ideal readers are going to be excited about. They're probably things that they're already reading or they're already interacting with on social media
mm,
or ads that they're clicking on. So like drilling really even further, get even more specific. What are books that are like it? Is it like Grady Hendrix, what is that book just last year? And it's like one of my favorites. Uh Witchcraft or Wait for Wayward Girls. Like, it kind
okay.
of, like, made me think of that because there's a religious aspect, but it's also horror, so you need to start writing down what are other authors who
Interesting.
are writing in a similar place, what are other
Gotcha.
titles, but also huge mind shift switch is, uh, to not just think about the big bestsellers. Like, who are the people
Okay.
who
Mhm.
are a couple steps ahead of you guys career-wise?
Hmm.
And who would your ideal readers likely also be reading?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
No, that makes
And I think
sense.
what you don't wanna do is, like, just talk about your book as a rom-com because someone who's, like, into
Yeah.
horror-coms might pick it up and
Hmm.
be like, "There's a zombie in
Horror?
here?" Right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
gonna be,
No, thank you.
like, not for them. Like, so you do
Yeah.
need to, like, weave that all together, and, like, someone who just never wants to touch religion, if your book has those sort of elements, like, that's not for them, and that's okay. Not every book
Yeah.
is for everyone, right? Like,
Yes.
and
Right.
I
Yeah.
also think not every book is completely unique, right? Of course, this sounds like a you said 3 things that I can't think of another book exactly like that,
Neither
but
can we.
very, very few things are brand new and never been thought of. So I'm
Right.
just saying there's other things out there that are similar that can give you sort of that
Mhm.
inspiration or other things. There's an audience for
Yeah.
everything, is what I
Yeah.
believe.
Yes.
Yes. Yeah, we have a
No.
very, very small concentric circle between the three circles of people who like rom-com horror and the religious themes. Where we're like,
And I love that. That's fun
Yeah.
content. Like, hey, where are the rom-com zombie Christians or whatever, however you want to say it. No
good
problem.
question. Good question.
You're looking for
Good
the Christian
question.
zombies.
I
We're looking
don't
for
know.
'em.
There's gonna
Or
be 10 of us.
you could even look at it as multiple titles, like it's Warm
Hmm.
Bodies meets Wayward Girls School meets blah blah blah. And then someone
Yeah.
who likes
Okay.
all of those is like,
Yeah.
Hmm.
that's me. I loved all of those things. And when you
Yeah.
I
put
love
those
it.
together, then they're like, "Oh, these are my girls. I need to follow them."
Yeah.
That
Yeah. I love
that makes
that.
sense.
Hey,
I think
question.
I keep
Oh, go ahead, Darcy.
Oh, I was just gonna say I think I keep trying to like single it down to try to find books that are exactly the same as a comp.
Yeah.
I didn't
Mm,
think to take like separate genres
yeah.
as
Yeah.
Yeah.
comps.
I
Yeah,
think
that's
that's a
super
great
fair.
example.
Because you guys work mostly with authors, how, I don't even know what the best way to ask this question. Darcy would be the best one to ask this question, but like, how do you help authors find that unique element? Because you're working with people all in the
Mm.
same like field or same
Mm.
industry. So is there like, how do you help people narrow down like what is it that's unique to you, kind of a thing?
I
Mhm.
mean, I think I can think of an example of an author that we recently worked with that was in our program who we were having, I think we were together, Nikki. We were having one of our strategy calls with her, and she was just telling us about her and her day job. And she writes like psychological thrillers, but she also
Hmm.
works at like the psych ward in the
Oh,
hospital.
yeah,
Or
yeah.
Oh
what
wow.
did she do exactly? It was something like, I can't, you remember
Uh,
what she does exactly? And I was like, do
sh
you talk
but
about?
she also had this, like, past of, like, working in CPS and, like,
Yes.
very,
Mm,
like, things that
Yeah.
really fed into her genre, and we're
Yeah.
like, "Why
mm,
are you not talking about
Yeah.
your past
mm,
history as an expertise?" Because
Yeah.
people are gonna be really excited to hear from an author who can relay, like,
Yeah.
current affairs and things to whatever they're
Mhm.
writing.
Okay.
I
So,
think sometimes
to
we
jump in on.
forget about, like, ourselves in that
Yeah.
content or,
Mhm.
like, what and I know, like, I don't wanna talk about me, I don't wanna do and you don't have to be your full self. It could be a version, it could be an exaggerated portion of you. We're all playing characters in some ways, right? And so that's okay. I think that's very much okay. And so I think that's kind of what those super
Mm.
naturally, that's those conversations. Now, of course, we have trainings, we have things that we try to walk authors through to get
Yeah.
them to think about it that way. But sometimes it's really hard to get outside of
Yeah.
yourself and think about yourself in that unique way. But I think everybody does have a differentiator.
Yeah.
You can't be just like everything. If you want to exceed and you want to stand out, there does need to be some reason why I'm going to pick up this new book
Mm.
versus
Yeah.
Old Faithful, the one that I know is good because I've heard of this author, right? And so I think
Yeah.
finding, that is it's a good question.
Mhm.
Yeah.
But I do
And
believe
think about people that
Yeah.
you follow on Instagram or TikTok, and not even just authors, like people who have a very specific point of view or have a specific
Mhm.
expertise, and you just
Yeah.
love hearing them talk about Broadway, or they're
Yeah.
talking about the latest cold case or whatever. And then at the end, if they're like, "Oh, by the way, I have a book out about X, Y, and Z," you're going
Mm.
to be naturally
Yeah.
interested.
Yeah.
Everything that they just told you in the video wasn't like, "Read my book, here's a
Mhm.
synopsis." It's
Yeah.
this thing that really got you interested in who they were as a
Yeah.
person, and then you're like, "Oh, they're an author.
Yeah.
Tell me
Yeah. It's like
more." You
coming at it
become
Okay.
sideways.
warm to it.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
exactly.
Yeah.
That's a great way to that's a great way to do it, because when people are reading your story, they're reading a piece of you. So getting them interested in you to get them in, that's awesome. I didn't even think to do that. So that's
Yeah. I mean, it
um
sounds weird to say, but, like, people buy people, which is a weird thing to say. Like, we are real if you follow us, you probably know our backstory, and so people are interested in us, and then by turn, interested
Yep.
in the things that we do as a business. So for the
yeah.
same
Mhm.
things for authors as well.
And
Yeah.
we
Yeah.
do hear that, like, I don't want nobody cares about me as an author, and it's so hard because we compare everyone, of course, is, like, thinking about that bestseller who, like, you don't know much about them, but they're this huge bestseller. There's a
Mm.
couple of reasons for that. There's because they published for the last 20 years, and was a different time, and you
Yeah.
did not have to ever say I mean, Stephanie Meyer is a great example of that. She doesn't have personal social media. We run it
Mm.
for her business and her brand. She
Yeah.
doesn't have to. She didn't have to back in 2000. She did actually back then. She had a blog, and that is actually
Oh, fun.
true. But now she hasn't had to continue that, of course, because she's this huge bestseller.
Yeah.
And then there's a plenty of other authors, or there's a book that they have just a publisher has decided to put a lot of money and investment in, and then they haven't
Mm.
really. Honestly, that doesn't happen very often anymore. Most of the time, yesteryear, she is a huge podcaster. She is
Yeah,
already very well
Mm.
known. That's
and
why
that's
that
probably why
book.
she got the deal.
That's why she got
Yeah.
Ah.
and
Yeah.
then they bought it for so much money that they had to invest. But
Yeah.
but I think that we think, well, you don't have to do that. Other authors don't have to do that. The reality is, the successful indie authors are having to do that. That
Mhm.
is
Yeah.
true
Yeah.
Yeah.
anymore. There's of course going to always be times that doesn't happen, right? There's always exceptions to the rule. There's always the viral moment that happens, but you can't count on that. You just can't. Like, because
Yeah.
a handful of books have gone viral on Book Talk, everybody assumes that's what we have to do and that's going to happen.
Mm.
But when you look at how many books are out versus how many have gone viral,
Yeah.
can we name 10? Probably. We probably like maybe we can name 10, right? But there's been a lot of books published and only these
Yeah.
10
Mhm.
new authors have made, that's a very small percentage. And so
Yeah.
it would be awesome. And sure, we
Yeah.
can always dream and hope for that, but we can't count on that or build our brand around something hoping to go viral on TikTok.
Yeah.
Book
For
Talk.
sure.
Yeah. No, I mean, that makes sense too, because going viral is not as easy as like some of these influencers make you believe.
Yeah. Or when it
No.
happened to them, right? It was a different time. TikTok really didn't take off until 2020. So everyone was going viral back
Yeah.
then. That's when
Yeah.
some of the big books did go viral.
Yeah.
Um, and everybody got on there and it got a lot harder.
Yes.
Yes. Well, so branding that social media, trying to figure out what to post and everything, is there like one or two tweaks that an author can make to what they're doing currently actively on social media that will improve their marketing, even just like marginally?
Mhm. One of the very first things that we usually notice if we'll go do like an audit or something, or we're talking to an author, we're like, "What were the last 3 or 5 posts that you posted? What were they about?"
Mm.
Most authors will say, "Oh, it was a quote from my book, sign up for my email, come to my event, deep dive
Realtor.
on a character." It's always about the book or the author, and don't get us wrong, you
Mm.
have to do those things.
Yeah.
But for people who don't know you yet, who are not in your world, what's the
Mm.
context? Like someone
Yeah.
sees that, they're like, whatever, scroll on by.
Yeah.
So it's really diversifying the content that you're putting out there and
Okay.
doing something that's more reader to reader and less author to reader. It's
Mm.
uh it's
Ah,
appealing to them within a genre that they really love already is
Nice.
usually number
One
one.
of the authors that we work with, Erin Marie Bassett, an indie author, she does this very well. So we call this delight content. So it's top of
mm,
funnel content, awareness content, lots of different marketing speak out there. But
Yeah.
we have a whole content funnel on how you attract people to you, how you nurture them, and then how do you sell to them. And so you can't just immediately sell to somebody. You wouldn't walk
Yeah.
into a bookstore and scream, buy my book. You would want to warm them up, introduce yourself. You would want to like, hey, make some small talk. So it's the small talk posts we're talking about. The
Yeah.
small talk posts, that's hard
mm,
to say. Small talk posts are the ones that get in front of the most people. It's what the algorithm likes. It wants you to just be fun on social media. So
Yeah.
back to Erin,
mm.
she does this really well. She basically tells like dad jokes. They've kind of gotten dirty jokes, like fun, like lighthearted, like jokes that she just does. And they're nothing to do with her books. It's just her
Mhm.
vibes. It's her
Yeah.
personality.
Hmm.
It's what
Mhm.
attracts people. And she has, I think one of her last posts we looked at had 17,000 shares on just a
Wow.
Mm.
random joke she
Dang.
told.
Mhm.
Now,
Dang.
how does that, who cares if I have 17,000 shares? Well, in the caption of her post, she has a link to her reader ranking,
Mm.
her quiz that she gets people on
Yeah.
her email list. And she has a
Yeah.
very robust email list that does well for her and helps her sell. And
Mm.
so that's
Nice.
where the sales piece is. But
Yeah.
it's really about she got 1,000 new followers from that post or something like
Wow.
Dang.
really. And it's just a
Mhm.
joke. It just happens to
Yeah.
be like a
And
funny, kind of cheesy sexual joke.
yeah. And there's also really subtle branding too. Like obviously she
Mm.
has merch that you can buy, but my favorite part of every time she does it is at the end she does this slow reveal of this coffee mug that comes up and it says
Favorite
it's not
tagline.
smut, it's cliterature. Like you're like,
Oh,
"Oh my god, like this is
very in brand with
exactly."
her
Right.
Yeah,
style.
it's
And
her
so if it is
books,
for
it's her
you, you're
style.
gonna say,
Yeah.
"Oh, this
Yeah.
is for me." If it's not
Yeah.
for you, that's probably not even gonna show up in your feed. Instagram or TikTok isn't gonna show that to someone who only devours, Christian romance. They really
Right.
won't. They know,
Yeah.
I guess they know what that word means by then, they
Yeah.
have figured out that Erin tells dirty jokes, right? The
Yeah.
eggplant
Yeah.
emoji shows up enough in her content that they're not sending it to somebody who wouldn't be interested in that at this point.
Sure.
And so
Right.
that's
Yeah.
a perfect example of
Yeah.
yes, it's not talking about her book, but
Yeah.
it's just the subtle little moments that
Yeah.
gets in front of so many more people than her
Mhm.
just being like, "Hey,
And
you gotta
built her followers.
you wanna hear about
Mm.
my character?" Right? To build the people, bring new
Yeah,
people into the
so
world.
so
Yeah.
then once she has them in because of the funny joke, she can then be like, "Oh, by the way, I'm an author, and here are things that you might really love that I write."
People by people.
They're in, they're warm, people by people. So,
Yeah. 1,000 more people to show up on her stories too, and
yeah.
stories can be really important for engaging. That's when you can get and be like, "Hey, this is what I was writing today. Oh my
Yeah.
gosh, this thing just happened to my character. I can't believe I
Yeah.
did it again."
Mm.
All the things that are
Yeah.
fun to hear about, and that's that nurture content. That's really getting deeper with your audience.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's
So
cool. Yeah.
small talk content.
We were
Yeah,
just
That is
talking
hard
about
to say.
small talk.
what does that mean? Sure.
That is
I
hard to
love the
say.
I love the concept of it being like a small talk content or just like that casual conversation content because it's the same as if you were at like a book conference or you're at a
Mhm.
book panel, and you're just looking around like, oh, these people are interested in this stuff, but what flavor are they interested in? And just getting to know them, you would just chit chat with somebody to see if you guys vibed or not. And if you didn't, you just turn to the next person theoretically.
100%. I mean, that's like
Mhm.
a perfect example. You're at a place, you have a ton of people in front of you. You know they're interested in books, you probably read, but like, what are they? Are you the right author for them? And so you
Yeah.
have to kind of try
Yeah.
things out. And here's my
Yeah.
personality. Here's what I talk about. Here's what I'm into. And
Yeah.
if they vibe with you, they're going to probably come over and try to talk to you or learn more about
Yeah.
your book. The same
Yeah.
exact thing online.
Yeah.
We complicate it sometimes by making this scary thing because I think we can't see the
Mhm.
people. We've taken away the human
Mhm.
element. But truly, if we
Yeah.
think about it as like, I'm just connecting with people,
Yeah.
it really does. There's another mindset shift that can really help.
Yeah.
That Yeah, I think that's a great piece of advice because I like you said, I think we lose part of that comfortability of
Yeah.
being more authentic because we're not seeing the other people on the other side of the screen.
Mhm.
So I think that's excellent advice.
Well, thanks.
Yeah.
um So, within marketing and social media and everything that's going on right now, are there any trends or themes that kind of seem to be sticking out that authors should keep in mind currently?
Well, I think
One
go ahead, Nikki, go ahead.
No, go for it.
Oh, I was gonna
Mm,
say because you just kinda said it there, I think you said the word
yeah.
authentic, and that's what I think is a huge trend in this world of AI when you don't even know if someone's
Mm,
real and you hear the little voice and you're like, "Is that an AI voice? Is that the it sounds like
Yeah.
them, but is it a robot?" Right? Like, we're questioning everything we see, and there's some stat of, like, more than I mean, we're talking about Facebook here, but more than, like, 60% of content on Facebook is AI. The
Oh,
videos, they are
really?
prioritizing AI
Mm,
videos. So,
Dang.
truly, you have to question everything you see, like, even if it seems like a creator you like, it may be their AI, whatever clone they call it that. So,
agent.
That's right.
in that
Forgot about
world,
those.
being human, being
Mhm.
authentic, I think is going to only become more and more important. And that means
okay.
less polished, right? Like just
Yeah.
showing up as you are. 'Cause I
Yeah.
think that's going to feel, just going to feel more real to people versus like, oh, she looks a little too put together today. That might be her clone, you know?
Mm,
No, for
Mm.
real. I was watching a news segment and the reporter was so plastic looking and shiny that I was like, I like no judgment if she's had work done, but like I legitimately do not know if you are a human being. Like
Yeah.
I'm questioning on a
Or you
news
have
network
great
if this
Botox.
is a
Yeah.
human
Or you
being
just
or
got fresh
not.
Botox 3 days ago.
I'm
Wow.
like, what?
And I think to build on that, one of the trends that I keep seeing that I love, and I'm seeing that a lot of people are saving or sharing or commenting on, are really authentic kind of storytelling carousels. So an author will share like their journey to publishing
Hmm.
or their journey to writing that book
yeah.
or meeting fans or something. And it's like
Mm,
5, 10 plus slides that are very slice of life images that they
Yeah.
just took on the road or every day, but it's where they actually get to share their words and their writing, which writers
Yeah.
are great at, and you get to put it on the image.
Yeah.
And then if you add music, it also becomes a reel too. So I love
mm,
that there's just an opportunity for writers to write
Nice.
on
Nice.
Instagram or wherever it
Yeah.
is. But those are some of my favorites.
yeah, I've noticed carousels are really kind of becoming
Hmm.
super popular
Yeah.
lately.
Mhm.
Um,
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the one other thing, if you have an older audience, so if you're a writer and you write to just a slightly older audience, Facebook can really work well for you. And the thing I've noticed, we just was talking with an author who has like a 50 plus audience, and long form content on Facebook is
mm,
actually working really well. So like, as
oh,
an author, that gives you
nice.
the chance to like write kind of like a Substack article, like
Yeah.
long posts on Facebook
Oh,
are actually
Interesting.
working, their algorithms really
Mm.
valuing that, and
hmm.
so it's a good place, I wouldn't go there if your audience is 25, like, don't just because you wanna write long, go to Facebook, like, think about your audience, but if you happen to have an audience that tends to be a little bit older, Facebook can be a place where you can definitely be seen,
How
with
interesting.
awful content.
That's really cool. I didn't realize that about Facebook. I thought Facebook was kind of going out, so
Yeah.
that's good to know.
It's kind of a new
They're
thing that's
holding on as hard as they
yeah,
can.
I know.
Yeah. All depends on your audience.
Yep,
Yes.
exactly.
That
Yes.
is true. Yeah.
Yeah.
That makes sense. My parents use Facebook a lot. So
Mhm. And
that
they're book
makes
buyers,
sense.
and they buy from
Yeah,
ads, I'm
right.
sure.
They
Yeah.
do.
Probably.
Yep.
I love it.
So, okay, so this one's going to be kind of an off the cuff question because I'm just curious because we were talking about this earlier with and you had mentioned stories being really good for engagement.
Mhm.
Um how do you differentiate making a good story compared to a good reel? Like
Mm.
how do you know what's going to be better for
Mhm.
So stories in Instagram and I guess TikTok as well are really only seen by your followers, right? You're not
Mhm.
like they are possible now to be shared, but really they're very rarely shared. So your stories, what you put up there is like the best chance of like talking directly to your followers as opposed to where real they tend to, if you ever look at your insights, you might see
Yeah.
that like 80% was new people and 20% was your current your followers versus new followers. You'll tend to, depending on the content you're putting out there, but if you do it with that small talk in mind or delight content, as we call it, you will see more new follower or new. It's not the what's the stat?
Like a new
New
audience.
viewers, new audience. I forget what
Yeah.
exactly they call it
Yeah.
People who
versus
don't follow you, I believe is the
yeah,
term.
that's non-followers versus followers in the
Mm.
percentage of it's like a graph, a little
Yeah.
pie
Yeah.
chart. So for stories, 99.9% of it's gonna be your followers, and so that
Okay.
is a place where you can talk about your day, you can talk about what you're writing, talk about what's happening, like,
Mhm.
and so that's if you have that type of content and it's off the cuff and it's not planned, that's why I love about stories, they don't have to be
Yeah.
planned, you can plan them, but they can just be, "Oh, you know what? I feel good today, my hair looks okay, the lighting is really great over by my window, so I'm just gonna pop on for a couple stories and talk about this, or show
Yeah.
this new book stack, like, here's my TBR, look, I took 56 book and I moved it up to spot number 3."
Nice, nice.
That kind of
Yeah.
and again, we always wanna
And
be thinking about our audience in mind. What are they gonna be interested in? If they're
Mhm.
if it's a random thing about your dog and you never talk about your dog, no one cares about your dog, don't post your dog.
Okay.
But if that's part of your content, if you know your followers are like, "Oh, hey, how's Chloe doing, your dog?" Then, talk about it. Great place to
Ghost
put
Chloe.
show up on stories.
Okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha. That makes
And
sense.
your reel or TikTok should more than likely have a hook at the beginning. Like
Mhm.
there's a
Okay.
reason that someone is
Mhm.
gonna watch this versus a story could be anything. You're running a poll or you're just talking about your day. It's less like hookish content in a story.
Gotcha. Okay. So it's more personal conversational than
Yeah.
like
Yeah,
small
it's really
talk conversational.
connection. Yeah,
If you
connection
have like
content.
I'm assuming most of your listeners are fiction authors, but if you're a nonfiction, an expert in an area, I love. I mean, you've probably seen them. I devour a 20, 30 slide screen of just like learning about a topic, right?
Yeah.
Or just going deep into something that I'm just like obsessed with, and so that's a really great thing. And you could do that even as a fiction author. It just might be your thing. Like, what are you talking about as you get ready with me as I pack for my next, book event, and you just have the phone on the floor while you're putting together, like, here's what I was thinking. Last time I was at an event, I didn't bring enough socks, so I'm packing my socks. It's just like a way to get deep in that connection,
Yeah.
um, and really get people to stick around and just like be excited about
Mhm.
whatever you're going to do next.
Yeah,
Got
Thinking
it.
and
that,
Yeah.
if
go ahead.
authors are I feel like authors a lot of times we talk to them are really concerned about authenticity or really feeling like they're being too promotional, which will probably happen more on grid than it would in
Mm,
stories. It's an opportunity for them
Hmm.
to just connect, be super personal as
Yeah.
themselves
Yeah.
or as, the side of them or whatever. Some people aren't, fully facing camera sometimes, but that can be another way for them to connect and feel more authentic.
okay.
Nice.
That
Yeah.
makes sense. I like that because we were talking earlier about like different types of like small talk, and then like you guys were saying in earlier in this episode too, small talk and then personal. So it's good to like categorize like
Yeah,
stories is personal, like you're talking to your friends,
yeah,
while
yeah,
reels is
Mhm.
like you're talking networking, like
yeah.
to okay.
That's a great way of thinking about it. It's just the way that the content performs best. And so stories really is only going to go to the people already following you. So just use that to deepen, nurture that relationship with your audience.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool.
Nice.
Awesome.
That's
That's
really good.
very good to know because I struggle with stories so much. I'm like, I don't know what to post. So that's very good to know.
And I almost only do stories. I'm like, look at this sandwich.
People love
Yeah.
seeing the sandwich.
Sandwiches are great
It's
content.
like the most
Mhm.
millennial thing you could do. Like, tell me you're millennial without telling me you're
Food.
millennial.
I
Food,
was like
quick.
so annoyed at social media a week or two ago, and I was like, I'm just gonna just start posting bad pictures of my food and see how
Yeah.
long until somebody notices. Now that I've said it, I don't think I can do it, but it would just be fun to just be like, here's my salad, and then post nothing else. Like just see how many days I can do a grid post of my salad and see what people say.
I would
Instead of
love it if it
photo
was just
dump,
like
it's food dump.
bad photos of food
Right.
too, like
Or
poor
legitimate ones.
lighting, or it's just like a badly made salad or sandwich,
Oh
just like
gosh, I miss the
Mhm.
bland
internet of
soup.
yesteryear.
Your
Yeah.
food dump for April.
Every
That
month,
could veer
just a
into
new
a
food
bad thing.
dump. Oh. Oh no.
Oh
I
gosh.
steered up in a bad direction.
Oops. Well, it's steering us back away from that. um, so you guys, you run a very successful marketing agency that's geared towards like authors, and I know you guys do fandom based as well.
Yeah.
Um,
Mhm.
but what are the biggest hurdles that authors end up bringing to you?
Mm.
And I guess if you're willing to share some of the ways that and examples of the ways that you like help them overcome those really big hurdles.
Mm,
Yeah, I think it's a lot of the things that we've talked about today,
Yeah.
but I feel like a lot of authors, are doing, like, all these things, like, I've got an email and I've got social media, and I don't really know what it means to, like, bring it all together.
Yeah.
And so, really, our Ink to Influence coaching program is based on building the plan of bringing all of these things together and teaching you how to do them really well so that they lead to book sales. So, I feel like that's like one of the biggest hurdles is doing a lot of things without knowing what really works for you and how it
Yeah.
leads to building an author career. So,
Mm.
I mean, that's
yeah,
like, feels like
yeah.
the biggest.
Yeah.
Yeah. They'll come and they'll say like, "I don't no one's buying my book." So we like,
Yeah.
no one's seeing what I do. So an audience problem, not getting in front of
Yeah.
people. And so it
Yeah.
all comes back to, I don't have time. I don't have any money to put into this. And so,
Mm.
um, the money question, we can quickly talk about it, is like, authors who are able to invest in their career from the get-go sooner are going to see success faster. That doesn't
Mm.
mean that if you don't have that, you can't eventually have success. It just means it's
Mm.
going to take longer. You don't have
Mm.
the ability to pay for the education or the help or the tools. And so that is a hurdle to overcome for some people. We can't necessarily fix that, but we do our
Yeah.
best to offer products and things that are different price points to help authors at different levels. But that's one thing. That's a hurdle that people come to with us. And then the other one is like no sales, no one's there. And so we
Mm.
talk about that audience. There's a huge
Yeah.
thing of like, what are you doing? Who are you for? I mean, that
Aw.
question, I don't
How
think
do you
people come
find
and
them?
yeah, people
Mm.
don't
How do
come
you
and say,
find the titles that we talked about? How do
yeah,
you find the
Mm.
authors?
yeah,
So
that's a
getting
big
really
one. Yeah.
tactical.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and then, like,
Okay.
doing all the things. There's the author who's doing all the things, but not seeing
Yeah.
the results, and that's kind of what Nikki was talking about. They're
Yeah.
trying everything, they have done all the courses, they know everything, they know all the experts on ads, and they're like, "It's just not connecting." And so
Mm.
we go back to the basics. I mean, that's where we come from. We're like marketing nerds, and so like build this plan for them that for them to follow. And we believe in being scientists. So
Yeah.
try something for a time period, check the data, and if it doesn't work, okay, we can pivot. But don't
Mhm.
just throw it out because your post we made a recommendation for a post and it got 300 views and never again. Like, no, we're going to
Uh-huh.
try things. We're going to innovate. We're going to change. We're going to build on success. And so
Yeah.
a lot of times that comes down to just needing a little support
Mm.
from us. We
Yeah.
definitely love being able to work with authors and help them through that process. And we are true believers in authors being able to do this themselves. We have
Mm.
authors coming to us and saying, I want you to run our marketing. And we are a marketing agency. We can do that. And we do that for certain authors. What we believe, because we've seen it, we've been doing this for a long time, the authors that own the strategy, that
Mm.
understand the fundamentals, that are building this and maybe have some team members, maybe they hand things off over time, but are really understanding of how to build a successful plan, are really in tune with their audience, are
Yeah.
showing up for them, they
Mm.
are the ones with the most success. And so
Mm.
we are just passionate about like giving authors those tools and
Yeah.
training them and supporting them in that so that they can have that success because we know that's the best thing for you as an indie author or
Yeah.
traditionally published
Uh-huh.
author as well. We're there to
Throw them in
save
there
you.
too.
Yeah.
Sure.
It can be a part of it.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I feel like one of the biggest turning points we see is authors having someone like us or someone on our team who can be the sounding board, who can be the
Mhm.
coach and the guide of like, "Hey, here's our 12 plus years of
Yeah.
knowledge that we want to impart to you. You know your book the best of anyone, but how can we help you and guide you and point you in the next direction based on our
Mhm.
experience and based on the data that we
Yeah.
see as well?" Like Becca said, being a scientist, if this worked really well, what can we learn from it? How can you
Mm.
rewrite that hook? How can you redo
Yeah.
that reel in a different way?
Mm.
So offering those perspectives, I think, is one of the biggest pluses of working
Yeah.
with someone like us too.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Well, if people are interested in working with you, where can they find you
Yeah.
to start the process?
Yeah, they can visit our website at methodagency.com. We have a whole section for authors. You can learn about us. You can see the people that we've worked with and are still working with. You
Yeah.
can see some of our products, and you can always hop on the phone with us or someone on our team as well to learn more.
Yeah.
Nice.
And then follow us on social media at
Yes.
Method Agency in all the places.
All
I
the
love it.
places.
So simple. Pick your platform. There they are.
Yeah.
I love it.
Much easier than much easier than our spiel, Lauren.
I'll try to keep it under an hour. You can find me at mistymorningstories.com and Misty Morning Stories on Instagram, Threads, Facebook, and Substack. And Darcy, where can they find you?
You can find me on Instagram and Threads at Darcy_Michaela. And you can find the podcast at Untitled Workin' Podcast on Instagram and TikTok. And I have a website, darcymichaela.com.
Oh, dang it, I was going to say that was our smoothest one, but
dang, I was so close.
We'll work on that.
next time.
Yeah. Next time. Well, thank you guys so much for coming out. This has been wonderful.
Awesome.
So much good information that I hope our listeners really appreciate, because I know I do. It definitely helped me like rearrange how I was seeing things. So
yeah,
great. We're so glad. Thank you so much for having us.
Yeah,
really
thank you guys.
appreciate
This
it.
was amazing.
All right, I guess I'll sign us off. Just remember, everybody, everyone's a work in progress. It's a process. We'll see you next week. Bye.